In this Map Suite MVC Edition sample app walkthrough, we're going to show you how you can scale features up and down on a percentage basis. So here we've got a basic sample application, and we've got a giant rectangle feature hovering over Africa here. And on the left we've got two buttons, scale up and scale down. So if I go ahead and click to scale up, you'll see that the feature expands by about 20% each time. If I click to scale down, the opposite happens. So this can be useful if you've got features on your map and you want to allow your users to, increase their size or reduce their size by a certain percentage. So let's take a look at the code so you can see how to implement this. First of all, let's look at where the map is loaded, and here we're doing our normal stuff where we set up the add the map to the page and add the world map kit overlay. So we have a base map. And here's where we're setting up our in-memory feature layer that's containing our green rectangle that you saw, and setting that style to make it green. This is where we're actually creating that rectangle shape. We're going to give it an ID of rectangle and then add that feature to our in-memory feature layer that we call map shapes layer. We're then going to add that in-memory feature layer to the map and rendering it out to the page. So that happens when the application is loaded. The next thing to look at is what happens when the user clicks the scale up or scale down button. So that's defined right here for these two input buttons, and you can see on the on click event of each of these we're actually going to do a map1.ajax call action, which is going to do an Ajax call back to the server, and we're going to tell it to call the zoom panning moving controller, and we want to call the scale method inside of that. We're also going to pass in a parameter to know that if we're scaling it up or down. In this case we're saying directions up, and the other one we're saying direction down. Then finally we're going to say a callback, so when it comes back from the server, we're going to come back and refresh the overlay accordingly. So we have the new, we update the map with the new size of the feature. So let's go to the server side and look at the controller source to see how we're actually doing the scale up. So here is our method called scale, and you can see the first thing we do is just getting the parameter passed into it to see if we're doing up or down, and really we're calling the same method here with just a different parameter of true or false. So let's go to update feature, and the first thing we're going to do in here is get a reference to our in-memory feature layer that contains our rectangle shape. We're going to open it, and then we're going to begin a transaction because we're going to be modifying this, and in case there's some sort of problem we want to be able to roll back, or if it goes successfully we want to go ahead and commit it. So we're going to check and see if we're scaling up or down. In this case we're going to scale up, and to actually do the scale up we're going to use the edit tools again and the scale up method there. Now the scale up method takes the ID of the feature you want to do, so if you remember we named it rectangle earlier, and then the percentage you want to scale it up. So in this case we said we want to scale it up 20%, so you can make that even a higher or lower number depending upon your requirements. To scale down, it's really pretty much the exact same thing, except you're going to use the scale down method instead of the scale up method, and that's going to reduce the size by 20%. Finally, we commit the transaction, and if you wanted to see what the result of that transaction was, you can get a transaction result returned from that and analyze it accordingly. And then close the in-memory feature layer and redraw that overlay that contains it. And that will give you the result here of being able to scale up or scale down any type of feature you have on the map. So I hope this sample app walkthrough has been helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us, or you can post your questions directly on our discussion forum at ThinkGeo.com/forums. Thank you for watching.